Tracy here. So I want to talk a little bit about spirit guides and higher self because there's so much information, spirit guides, ancestors, all this stuff. And you know, you may be wondering, how do I talk to who am I talking to? How do I talk to these people? Who should I talk to? Um, when I first had my awakening and was going through this and realizing who I'd been kind of talking to throughout my life, I kind of put things into perspective a little bit. But um, don't put pressure on yourself. I talked to a lot of my friends who maybe are just new on their journey or maybe have not just talked to, their higher self or their guides throughout their life. And I'm like, well, do you just talk to the universe, talk to, and they're like, no. And I'm like, just start the conversation and you'll get to talking. So me personally, when I first started this journey, I'm like, well, maybe I'm supposed to talk to these guides, duh, 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 duh. There's all this stuff about spirit guides, and my soul personally designed me to have a direct line to my higher self. I pretty much I'm always talking to my higher self, like the majority of the time. I know who my guides are. I've kind of talked to them in meditation, and they feel different. w- you know, One of my guides, and I just don't feel like I don't know, like I just kind of bypass my guides because I just talk to my higher self and get what I need. But like I know for him, one of them comes as a male dominant spirit, and we had multiple lifetimes together, like fighting, and I got in ancient Greece. Um, and I just felt very much the overwhelming love he has for me. And he's more of the fire inside of me. And then I've got another girl, comes as a female. Again, souls don't have genders because we're everything. And she does more of my, helps with some of my internal stuff. And they probably designed their approach to me that way, or maybe I know them that way. Again, I don't really like do a lot with that. And if you do, good, keep up with that. If you're looking at this video and you're like, I don't know who I'm talking to, just talk. Just talk to them. And you can say, well, I feel like I'm talking. Yes, when I talk to my higher self, I know I'm talking to myself. You are your higher self. It is the higher part of you in collective consciousness. It is the one that's guiding the. I've always known, I guess I look at it this way. I knew growing up there was somebody driving my bus. I just knew. I was like, like I grew up Baptist, so, and you're kind of taught, well, God's kind of directing you. I didn't really resonate with that. Like I knew there was a soul guide. Like I was like, somebody's driving my bus. I can feel where I need to go, and they're guiding me to it. And I was like, okay. And it didn't override my free will because there's plenty of times I've said, no, I'm not going to do this, or no, wait, no, it will be okay. And just a heads up, every time I've told my higher self or the universe, no, it's going to be okay, it's never, it's never okay. It just, but anyway, so my point being, you know, just if you don't know who you're talking to, or if you can't feel a difference, just start talking. Just and if you hear like you think it's yourself kind of talking back or kind of guiding you, that's okay. And there, especially if this is new to your journey, if you haven't been talking and having that dialogue and you haven't been listening and you're trying to cultivate more, you might not know if it's, you know, really, your mind or your soul or, a guide. But the main thing is look back at your life of how you've gotten your intuition, whether it's feeling, knowing, and hearing, whatever has worked out for you, however you've just kind of felt things, and see if what they say feels true. That's just the easiest way. If you get something and it comes in real fast before you have time to think about it and use your mind, and it feels right in your body, trust that. If you ask something and there's like a hesitation and there's like something kind of pops in and you're iffy, probably your mind. But yeah, um just start talking to somebody. Say, you know and you can kind of ask to who you're talking about. If you want to work with your higher self, say, I'd like, I just want to talk to my higher self, and just start talking and see what you feel, see what you get. Just kind of be a little playful. Like, and for me, I got a lot of Sag energy and it rules the legs. And I'll kind of do some more of these videos. So I don't do well sitting in meditation and getting answers. Most of my answers is I'm moving and I'm walking and the energy's flowing and I'm kind of talking and in that dialogue. You know, someone with heavy Taurian energy may do better in meditation, sitting, feeling out in nature. Meditation doesn't have to be, you know, like we think of where we're just sit. It's just making space to hear your soul or hear your guides or who hear who's helping guide you throughout your journey. So it can be out in nature. It could be, sometimes things come through driving. It can be for me, and a lot of people think, well, meditate, and I'm getting kind of on for tangent, but a lot of people think, well, meditation has to be super quiet. I don't, sometimes things come, sometimes they don't. I just sit there but usually for me, just movement and talking and getting, because sometimes I'll just things, I've got a lot of, I've got Uranian energy too. So it's like, I just know, flash a light. So again, that's where it kind of goes back to your chart and seeing what, we're all wired a little different how we get our answers. But yeah, so really it doesn't matter who you talk to as long as they're beings of love and light. But if you're just getting started and you're like, well, who should I talk to? Just ask in for your guides of the highest and greatest good, because you've got your team of guides and there's other guys who can help with everything. Again, my soul did not set me up like that. I could work with them if I wanted to, but I don't think that was my plan. I'm came for like real sovereign work in this lifetime. So I'm designed for that specific pathway to directly to my higher self. And I just trust, where they guide me. But yeah, so talking, just start talking. But ask for it to be either your higher self or your guides or of love of light. If you want to talk to ancestors, if you want to talk to family members, you can also call them in and just start, like, say someone died that you loved and or close to, you can call them in and their energy and you might feel them or you might get messages from them and trust that. As long as, again, if it pops in and it feels right, go with it. You can think you're a little crazy. That's okay. We everybody's crazy at this point. We're all just, listening to all kinds of stuff or seeing all kinds of stuff. So just trust whatever comes. It's as long as it feels right in your heart. Be as I'm the woo-woo lady to a lot of my friends who are not as into a lot of the stuff. And I used to hide it and shut it down for a long, long time until my soul was like, it's time to come back. They kind of blew up my world and they were like, you're not on your path. You're miserable. You're not where you're supposed to be. We gotta put you back where you belong because you got things to do. And I still stumbled along the way, but I did. I said, okay. I knew from a early age. Again, I had that dialogue. I remember being, and children are very connected. They can get stuff from their guides, stuff from their higher self. They're very connected to spirit. So, sometimes uh, invisible friends, make believe friends can be, you know, beings, spirit guides, higher self, things like that. I remember being playing my Barbies as a young girl, and I could feel guides and spirits around me. And I didn't know it at the time. I was like, I just feel like all these people are here watching me play and talking to me. And so yeah, so trust that. So it kind of goes back to some inner child healing. Um, but just talk. Just start talking to the universe and start watching them talk back. You are the universe. You are your higher self. Your guides are here to help you. Be a little silly with it. And yeah, just, you know, don't be scared to look silly. Don't be scared to talk to yourself. Don't be scared, to receive messages and um, feel into things and just kind of see what goes right because everything out there has taught us not to listen so they can tell us what they want to tell us. So it really comes back to what does your soul want to tell you and where does your soul want you to go, which again goes back to that shift of consciousness video that I just did. But really it really comes back to just start talking. It doesn't matter if you're talking to your guides, it doesn't matter if you're talking to your higher self. They're both here to just kind of maybe set the intention that you want to talk to your higher self or set the intention that you want to talk to guides of love and light and the highest, greatest good because you don't want any lower guides who might not have your best interest at heart. And just start chit-chatting. Talk, I mean, talk to God, talk to the universe, source, whatever, you know, just ask for, you know, just develop that conversation and that flow of energy to kind of help you. And that's really, I think, the biggest thing is that flow of energy of dialogue between you and the universe to get what you need in life. But again, if you have questions, just let me know. But yeah, don't be afraid to. They want to talk to you. They want to help you. They don't. You're not here to go through life alone. We have soul plans. We have blueprints. So, really work with that and ask for their help in knowing how to go to um, your highest plan, your highest, you know, life that you came to live for, your highest purpose. Um, and things like that. And again, some of that is shown in your chart of like what your purpose is, what you're here for, what you're trying to evolve to and from, um, what you may have inherited from the lineage, um, and like how you get your messages and how, but again, you can just talk and we all have the ability. Just because some of us may be more open at certain times, it doesn't mean that anyone's more special. We're all able to connect with the divine. Some of us just came in. Um, there's some people that are just can read all kinds of energy and get caught in the messages, but that I've also seen it where they're not as healed and um, so yeah, so don't listen to a lot of the videos where here's, who you should be talking to or here's what you should be, just do what's right for you. Feel your soul. Feel your connection to yourself. That's your main thing. That's who you should be talking to. And from there, start, the guides will help you. Ask your guides to help you talk to yourself. I mean, just ask to be guided to your soul and what it wants for you because you are your soul. It's your highest expression of self. And you want as much of that to flow in as possible. So really, I guess that's what my video ended up being about. Don't worry if you're talking to guides. Don't worry. Just or your higher self. It doesn't matter as long as, they're of the highest and greatest good. They're going to help you get where you need to go. But just talk. Just talk. They want to hear, they want to have that dialogue. They want to guide you. They want to help you. They love you so much. Um, but yeah, so you just it doesn't matter. Just start talking to the universe. Talk to the I talk to the freaking birds outside. I'm like, oh, you're so I love you little babies. Oh, and so more come because I'm just like, oh, and yeah, so just you know, play, play, have fun. And I say this to remind myself to, find joy in your day, find joy. Um, just live through the heart, live through the heart. Talk to the heart, and the heart will guide you where you need to go. Have a good day.